All right, everybody in FCRA. This is Jared Havens here. Really excited. I pushed David and Sydney this morning. I said, hey, let's just get on. Let's get on live right now in FCRA. We got some great equipment in here. We're actually rolling out the Credit Rockstars podcast. So today we're just doing this. If there's any glitches or technical difficulties, that's fine. Don't worry about it. We're doing this because we just want to see how it sounds, how it looks. But I really want everyone to understand how great this is that we're doing this podcast, because we're going to talk about a lot of things, all the way from fixing your credit to how to make more money and everything in between. So this could be really, really cool for everyone to really monitor, listen to, refer back to. Having David and Sydney on is going to be just absolutely amazing. David is a growth strategist. He does a ton of work, a lot of positive work with businesses. He helps them grow, but more importantly, it's done in a way that really elevates the company to do more for their clients. A lot of things that we're doing right now that you're hearing, the possibility business, it's not credit repair, it's buying power. David helped bring that out of us, to be able to really know what it is, the power of what we're doing for people. So this is going to be really cool to have someone like David on these shows, these podcasts, as a co-host with me. And then also Sydney. She is a brand, how would I say that?
A brand evangelist.
Evangelist. I love that word. She's a brand evangelist. So Sydney is all about empowering the brand, about being one, and just being able to touch in on some positive mindset topics that she loves so much. I think is going to go a long way for this podcast. So very excited to roll this out, and really we're just going to go back and forth and have a conversation today and just talk about a few different topics, knowing that it's Motivational Monday. A lot of what we're going to talk about today is mindset, motivation, and really start this week out strong.
Sounds good. Thanks for the intro, Jared.
Yep.
So do you have a Motivational Monday quote that you want to jump out with?
My favorite's the one I created, let's get it.
Let's get it.
That's every Monday I get up and I'm like, let's get it.
I like it.
I love it. I love Mondays, actually. I really do. I love the weekend. I love the week. I mean, for me, it's not like I don't work Monday through Friday, but I work every day essentially. But Mondays to me, I still like, because there's something about it where I'm like, start of the new week. Let's get it. New goals, daily goals, weekly goals, long-term goals, and just pushing.
Well, we're still conditioned to think Monday is the beginning of the work week.
Yep.
And so I think culturally and habitually, that's just where we are at. But like you're saying is, when you're building a business, growing a business, and you're really trying to take the business, get into a position to scale, there essentially is no day off, because part of it is not a bad thing. I just want to state that, because I think some of the listeners might be freaking out and saying, what? Working 7 days a week? You guys you're crazy. But that is part of the benefit of being a business owner and being an entrepreneur, building something where your life, essentially is always in your control.
Yep.
Right? So where you take time off might be different than other people. Where you find rest might be a different cycle than other people.
Yep.
So there is no absolute right and wrong and format that works, as long as we make sure that holistically that we are a strong, healthy, successful person.
Yeah.
And that's really, I think, at least from my point of view, I think that is kind of the absolute more important part of it.
Well, to me, the one thing, I have a lot of friends that I grew up with. They're like, man, Jared, it seems like you're always working. But for me, this is Credilife itself is in a way my baby, so to speak, It is my hobby. Even though it's a business and I have employees and we have our clients and all that, which I absolutely love, everything that comes with that. But to me, it's like this living, breathing thing that I'm just helping cultivate and grow. You know what I mean? It's the same as someone who wants to go out and refine their skills in hunting, or maybe woodworking, or rock climbing, or whatever it is, mountain biking. There's so many different things. But for me, I just really enjoy pushing myself to do more, to learn, to be a better person, to be a better leader, to do more for our clients. Those type of activities for me are fun. So even though I may work in theory a lot, it's because I'm choosing to do so, and I don't mind it.
Absolutely. And I feel like part of the Mindset Monday for me is surrounding yourself with people who never tell you work too much, because they're also doing the same thing and they're way into it.
Yep.
And it's all about professional development, making sure you're bringing the best the absolute best you can to your clients. I mean, it's like we get high on that. That's like everything to people who are motivated to do so.
Well, I think too, I mean, if everyone chooses how they like to spend their time, and
Yeah.
I don't look down on anyone. You know what I mean? Like everyone does what they want, whatever makes them happy makes them happy. So maybe, hey, I work 9 to 5, I go home, I have a family. I like to hang out with my wife, make dinner, go on Netflix, we watch our shows together. All that honestly is positive, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think that's great. Anything that makes you feel like more fulfilled and happy in life is a good thing. You know what I mean? For me, I have a family. I'm in a different situation where I co-parent, so my family time is on the weekend. So I just make sure that even though there's times I'm working on the weekend, everything else is solely dedicated to my family and that time spent with my family. You know what I mean? And like that quality one-on-one. I'm not going unless they're sleeping. I'm not going and watching a show all day. I don't even really watch football because for me, like yesterday, we went and sat in a line for 2 hours to see Santa, which was great.
Aw.
Afterwards, went to Sephora because I got some girls.
Wait,
and so they wanted
wait, you're a dad that goes to Sephora?
I went to Sephora.
That's amazing.
Yes, I did. And I let them pick out one thing within reason of price because that place is expensive.
Do you ever let them?
I realized that yesterday.
You ever let them put stuff
yeah,
on you?
that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
My daughter Jovi already knew. She's like, oh, I just tested this out on my hand. I was
Yeah.
like, you're 7 years old.
Oh.
How do you know to do that?
Girls know.
And then afterwards we went to dinner together at Pizza Luce. But that's the type of stuff I like to do on the weekends. And then during the week and a little bit on the weekends is solely, focused on Credilife, what we're doing here, just betterment and things like that. So
Super. Yeah, we were.
kind of went on a tangent there, but
That's good though. Yeah, we were working all weekend too, and just whiteboarding out things and trying to figure out how to help people, and that's really what we do and what makes us happy. And then when I have downtime, like last night, I was gorging myself on Jay Abraham and
Oh, that's so cool.
his work, and just other people who are super influential and in our field and that kind of thing. So always, even when I'm resting, I'm still taking in information that helps me to change how I think and see the world.
that's cool.
Yeah, I think part of it is doing this show. We decided to do a live in FCRA. Is that it's such a large community in terms of by number,
Yep.
but also there I'm sure it's just full of different type of folks coming from different background, doing different kind of work, different vocation, different goals, and whatnot. So there's so many things I think we can talk about from that area that that would benefit many people. But at the same time, I think why this is such an exciting kind of a space that we want to be involved with is at the end of the day, we are all still human beings.
Yep.
And we just always have a common need, as people, and how we can attain things in life, and really dominate our own world, our own life, and take back control of our own life. A lot of those things are very common, which we can learn from each other. So it's not unique for one individual. So I think that's really one part that's, at least for me, is super exciting.
Yeah.
Those are the things that we're hoping, that we can really talk more about.
Talk more, bring out of others too. That's why I love the evolution of FCRA since we did the relaunch 2.0, is the understanding that it's a peer-to-peer group. Yes, you came there because you wanted more about credit repair specifically, which is great, and we're going to give you that. But a lot of times behind that action was something else, like I want more for my family. I want more for myself. I'm trying to get a better job. I mean, there's a lot of different things that happen with people simultaneously. So I look forward to be able to put out more information or content like this to help kind of create more discussions around, how can I make more money? Or how can I change my mindset on this? I find that I am a little bit more negative on things. How can I tweak that so I end up doing better for myself and my family? Yeah, I want to repair my credit because I'm looking to be approved for a mortgage. We're renting right now. It's expensive to rent. I have another little one on the way, and I want to be approved for our own home. All those things together, there's a lot to that in general. It's not just one specific thing like, hey, I need to remove this collection off my report and all is good. It's even though that's an aspect or a part of the entire journey, But we just want to bring out more of these discussions and get people thinking this way, just to create that dialogue and help others, and hopefully we can be a conduit for that.
Absolutely. I think Motivation Monday is I'm trying to figure out how can we make that more of a conversation.
Oh, there's our mascot. We knew that was going to happen. We got a mascot
Motivation
here.
Monday. The duck is like, who is coming into our space over there?
Into our studio.
And what's going on? So this is a part of the life part, so we know that. But
Yeah.
being motivated is one of the things that I want to remind everybody is that motivation is something that we do for ourselves. It's inner. It's
Yep.
individual. No one else can motivate you, and you really shouldn't be looking for motivation from somewhere else. I know sometimes play on words and whatnot, and there's been tons of stuff on Instagram or Facebook groups and whatnot, people putting out motivation quotes and so on and so on. And so we become consumers of information like that. And so what happens, we're seeking outwardly for people to really motivate us to take action, which they just don't really work, right? At best, I'm hoping to inspire others based on what we do, what kind of information we share, how we help others. But at the end of the day, you are the person have to figure that out and become self-motivated to take action, because you have to live it. You have to live that. You have to challenge. You're living with the ups and downs. You have to make all the decisions, and that's part of the whole thing about having total control over your life, is that you have to own that part and that component as well.
Yeah, I mean, you guys heard the dog barking, and maybe your motivation, one of mine of becoming a business owner was that I can have my dog with me. I know it sounds funny, but
No, it's cool.
I love animals, and a lot of us do
Well, and you rescue,
here in our circle. Yeah.
which is so noble. That's,
It
that's
was a
huge.
foster for 4 years, and it's important to me to help animals and people. So, owning a business, being a business owner, sometimes I can bring my bratty dog with, and he's barking when he shouldn't be, but that is something that, without having a vision for that, it would never have happened, and now it's a reality, and now he's barking in the background. But it's because I wanted to bring him with.
It's something that you want. It's part of your lifestyle that you want.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Yeah.
That want, right? You're motivated to realize that lifestyle. You're motivated to have your dog with you as often as possible, and being with you. And so part of that is, you have to do the work.
Exactly. Do the work, and also be okay if you make some mistakes along the way. I feel like a lot of times people feel like, I want to accomplish this goal, whatever it is, and they start, and they're just gung-ho, they're excited, and then they make one mistake, and they go, oh, I failed, I can't do this. It's
right.
There is no one that can 100% execute on everything perfectly every single time on every action always. That doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like some of the
Right.
most smart people,
Like a
they
good
learn through failure.
coach. A good
Coaching,
coach
exactly.
is going to be like, hey, we dropped the ball, but there is always a way to win. Until that
Yep.
game is over, which is, never until
Yeah.
you're 6 feet under, you have to keep going, and you have to always see a way to win. And if
And
you don't
that's-
have that yet, you need to seek people like Credilife
to help you out.
to help you get there.
Well, and a lot of people like to talk on the motivational. People see a lot of, it's Motivational Monday for us here in FCRA and everything that we're doing. But a lot of people see the motivational quotes that David was talking about. A lot of times, I notice a lot lately, you'll see motivational quotes on failure. And that, I bet you, might be a little confusing to some people, because they're like, how can failure help you succeed? Well, what they're saying is that through the action of change or going after something or doing something, business owners and people understand that there are a lot of failures along the way. You learn through your failures.
Well, okay, that's
know?
a key. You learn.
You learn.
You
Yeah.
have to learn, and that is like the word in that entire concept, theory, teaching, phrase that I just want to make sure
People
our
understand
listeners are paying attention to that. Learning from errors, learning from quote unquote mistakes, right, or failures or whatever, is the differential key difference between continuing a foolish path
Yeah.
and do whatever you want to learning from attempts, best effort, right, taking chances, because then that's how you can get better. That's how you can decrease your chance of failing again of the same mistake, the same error.
Yeah, right. Like you can take the example of maybe a traditional academic college educational path. And some of the greatest entrepreneurs and people we admire failed miserably. They were not good traditional academic students, but they used those failures, quote unquote, as other avenues for seeing possibility.
Yeah.
You know, and they created their own buying power by going, you know, there is a way to win. There is a way to succeed. I'm going to own the means of production and get myself to a new place. So if it's, you know, if you want to own a new truck next year or buy a house or, you know, level up your credit score, there's ways to do it. You just have to keep going and surround yourself with people that can help you get there.
Well, and even like if we relate that to credit repair,
Yeah.
you know, like this, a lot of people, I'm looking at the camera now, could probably relate to this, who've gone through like a DIY path. You know, they send out, maybe they find a templated letter or write their own or whatever it is, and they'll go through and challenge or investigate or dispute something on their credit report.
Yeah.
And let's say it comes back stating validated, no change, verified, whatever it is. A lot of times people, when they receive that type of response, take it for what it is and go, oh, that's it, I can't do anything. But the reality is, without knowing, without pushing to understand there's more solutions, there's more opportunity, and not just accepting that one answer for what it is, there are multiple different ways that you can reinvestigate and challenge an account within itself to try and push for the result that you're looking for. You know, that just is an example on credit repair, at least specific to the investigation process. But once again, things are developed in a way, I'm not going to say yes or no to this, but my assumption would be that it's done, those type of responses are done in a way to kind of push you back a little bit, say, hey,
Intimidate.
we did this, no change, don't try again. But the
Yeah.
reality is there's laws, there's things in place that the common person just doesn't understand until they start kind of diving in and understanding that I want to do more for myself, I want to fix my credit, I want to build my credit, I want to do these things. You know, so that to me is just an example of something that's relatable to a lot of people, you know, that probably have experienced that, when the reality is it's not a one and done situation, it's a journey. And along the way, you're going to have some positive results, you may have some negative results. But as long as the positive outweigh the negative, you continue to move forward in an upward manner. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, and some of the people writing those responses, I mean, well, all of the people, that is their entire business. And sometimes if you're just a regular person who hasn't dealt with this yet, you may be intimidated by something like that and give up. But the point is, do not.
Well, and there's a lot of emotional ties to your past.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like someone that's going through this, they're going to relate what's on the report to what happened to them in their life. You know, so a lot of times there's just more emotion packed into that. So if you don't necessarily get the result you're looking for quickly, you could end up taking that emotion in a way that would hinder you to move forward in a positive direction. So you just have to stay strong. You know, I guess that's the message. Stay strong.
Persevere.
Persevere, persistence, driven. Just drive right through it, because the reality is you can get there.
Absolutely. Keep your vision intact and grow your vision. Have a bigger vision for yourself, and just keep seeking the truth and people that can educate you to get you there.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think before we wrap up today, you know, that's really, it's a kickoff podcast, is we just want to encourage everybody in here, whether you've found this podcast through FCRA or elsewhere that we're going to put the content out there, is to realize a couple of things. One, perseverance is something I think is one of those life surviving and success conquering skills and mindset and belief system that you must have. And two is that, you know, we laugh about this, you know, because I'm sure most people heard quotes like, you know, everything is negotiable. That is not just some movie line or some cheesy sales quotes, but it's absolutely true. Because if you believe in that, you know, what it allows you to do is continue to find ways moving forward. You may not get exactly what you want, okay, but you're going to continue to navigate, continue to negotiate, continue to knock on doors until, you know, you're as long as you're advancing towards your goal, Okay, it's already a win.
Yep.
Right. And so, and the other component is really, I want to challenge all of our listeners is that being negative on yourself is too easy to do. We are master at that because guess what? You spend most of your life being conditioned that way. You know, so sometimes it's not your own fault, but you're getting information. That's why we're doing a podcast.
Yep.
Because we want to share information, maybe repeat stuff that you heard before, but you didn't grasp and personalize. Is that you once you know stuff, you have a choice to be ignorant or become wise. And this is one of those things that being negative self-talk is something that we've been conditioned with most of our lives, from education systems, a lot of times in family. You go work for a job, what happens, you're at 15, well nowadays 16, but many people start working when they were even younger, is you have a boss, you have a manager, someone telling you what to do, what not to do, and their whole approach most of the time is to criticize. And so we are conditioned to wonder, question ourselves and our belief system and our self-worth and everything else. And so, know that. And this is no different in the credit space. You're in FCRA, you're in this particular group where we're dropping the podcast in, is because you have bumps in the road. I can assure you that majority of you have received some kind of negative feedback or lack of support from family, friends, and society.
Yep.
Well, this is the place where we want to do different. One thing that we talk about is Credilife is in the possibility business.
Yep.
Right? And that is not just hypothetical, but it's really true.
It's the
this
reality.
is where the group believes, and this is where leadership believes, this is what we believe, is that everything is possible. There's a way to get there,
Yep.
right? And that's where the how component, how
do you
is
do it?
key, and that's what we want to continue to talk about. And this is what the coaches are really trained to do, is helping you figure out your path that's specifically set for you, how to deal with certain situation that you're not familiar with, and how to communicate. And those are wonderful resources available to you. And then on top of that, there's the DIY program
Yep.
for people that kind of want to learn how to do it themselves or explore. But the whole point behind that is there's options. We're not just saying it's a possibility business while we don't do everything we can to give you as many ways to learn, to succeed, to take positive forward
I agree
motion,
with that
right?
completely. Yep.
And so, I just want to really set this out there so our listeners are getting something. Well, I guess I get a little passionate about some of this stuff, and that's just how we see it. And so hopefully you guys can come back to the podcast expecting us, right, to engage with you, to share with information with you, with that motive, with that intention.
Yep.
And so that's how we know we can do the best job for you day in and day out.
That's what I'm very excited about this podcast as well, just because everything you just said, David, and the difference that I feel what we're going to set out and actually accomplish with this podcast is having something that, one, inspires you, one, gives you items or action steps that you can take, and not just like these steps that it's like, hey, go accomplish this goal that might take you however long. I want to give you guys something like daily goals, daily wins, slowly changing what you're looking and what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish, right? Those daily wins add up to the big wins, right? So that's what we're going to be doing here in this podcast. It's going to be there that you guys can refer to. It's going to be consistent, and just a really, really good place for you guys to connect with us on the Credit Rockstar side, connecting with Credilife, and really, once again, empowering others to do more peer-to-peer and helping others along the way. That's going to be the power of this podcast, without a doubt.
Yeah, dream bigger.
I like it.
What's that quote where it's like, hey, if you reach for the moon and the sun, you're not going to come up with a handful of dirt. So it's like, if your vision isn't big enough, maybe you need to start dreaming bigger and start surrounding yourself with people that do the same.
Yep.
Well, thanks everybody
I like
for
it.
listening.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Make sure you share and tell other people about this, even just folks within the group, because we know Facebook is
tag them in
is
or
not always
like it, comment.
always showing this right to
Yeah.
everybody. So we want to make sure that the spirit of the group continue to remain true,
Yep.
and that means helping each other whenever we find good content information. Tag a buddy.
Yep. I like it.